Hi, boys and girls. It's Mr. Yates and Miss Garcia, and we are going to be going over the spiral math for Monday, April 13th. We're going to be starting with number 1 in just a second here. But the one thing I want to do before I do anything, I got to zoom out a little bit, and I want to make sure that I am using a piece of paper that's going to be able to show my answers in my work. So I want to do answers and work just like we do every day on spiral math. It just really helps because that's the way we're going to show it. So if you're going to check it, it's a lot easier for you to check it that way. So we're going to go ahead and put my answers and work down here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more than I'm back to that. I'm going to go ahead and put number 1 right here, and we'll take a look at the very first one I'm going to be working on. Today, it looks like we're going to be saying write the number in expanded form. Oh, that's a big one. So we're going to start going through it right now. Check to make sure that you've got the expanded form like I do. Ms. Garcia is going to be checking to make sure Mr. H is on point with the expanded form, and we'll just make sure everything is correct. So we'll say the number, and I really do want you to write this out so we know what we're doing here. The number in, and I'm going to go across here because we're not going to be showing work, we're just going to be writing the expanded form. In expanded form is, and I'll put a little colon right here. And then what I want to do is go ahead and I'm going to work through this all the way together. So it's 1,297 and 800ths. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 in parentheses multiplied by 1,000. I'm going to be adding in parentheses 2 times 100. And then I'll be adding in parentheses 9 times 10. Then I'll be adding in parentheses 7 times 1. And I don't want to really squish, so I'm going to go to the other side down here. I don't have any tenths because there's a 0 there, so I'm just going to add in the hundredths. 8 multiplied by, and you could do it one of 2 ways, 1 over 100, or 8 times 0 and 100ths. You don't have to do both, but either one is okay. And this is a parentheses, not the number 1. All right, so check to make sure you have all those things in there. If you need to pause the video, do so. And then we're going to move on to number 2. All right, Ms. Garcia.
Alrighty, so for number 2, it says, how is 3/10 written as a decimal and in word form? So you can say 3/10 in decimal form is, and boys and girls, is how I wrote it, is I wrote 0 and then the decimal and then I put my 3 to represent 3/10, just and like.
Okay.
And then for word form, don't forget that, boys and girls. You guys can start a new sentence, or you can say and word form is, and in word form, as Mr. Yates is doing. It is going to be 3/10, and make sure that you spell it T-E-N-T-H-S. Yep, just like so. Perfect. Just make sure you guys spelled everything correctly and included everything in that one. Exactly. Alrighty, on to number 3.
Now this one, I'm just going to zoom in onto the actual coordinate plane so we can see it. So number 3 is use the coordinate plane. What are the coordinate points of A, B, C, and D? So I wanted you to write the coordinates of all those. So I'm going to do, you could do it this way. You could do the coordinate. And I got to make sure I spell things correctly. Coordinate. Points are, and I'll just do it this way. So the coordinate points are for A, and I'll just go through across here. I go to, I love how Ms. Garcia, you taught, what was that thing you use, like crawl, what was it? No, mow the grass and it grows back. Is that the thing? I love that.
Oh, so you cut the grass and let it grow.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm going to cut the grass and then I'm going to go let it grow. And so A is 2, 2. I'm going to put that in parentheses. B, same thing, cut the grass, let it grow. 1, 1. C, and go across, and then go up, 4, 6. And then D is going to be 3, 4. Make sure you have parentheses at the end of each one of these coordinate points and at the beginning of each one of these coordinate points. I'm going to move on now to number 4.
Alrighty, so for number 4, it says classify the triangle based on its sides. Now, the key word in this one is sides. And then it says how, I think it said, how do you know at the end of it?
Yeah, let me put that back so you can see it.
All right, so I looked at all these sides, and one side is 3, the other one is 4, and then the last one is 5. So based on its sides, I said the triangle is a scalene triangle. And make sure you guys are paying attention to spelling right here. So scalene is S-C-A-L-E-N-E. And I said it is a scalene triangle because, make sure you guys have that because statement. And I said because no sides are the same. Because that is the definition of a scalene triangle.
That's perfect.
No.
Okay.
Oh, I was done, sorry.
Oh, I was going to express my sadness, boys and girls, today because I was grading the test from chapter 12, and a lot of you didn't pay attention to the fact that when it says classified by its sides, you got to check the sides, and some students were telling me the angles. So they would look at a triangle and they'd say, oh, it's isosceles, even though I meant to say look at it by the angles, and they would tell me isosceles, or they would tell me acute, when it meant to be the number of sides. So be really careful to make sure that you're paying attention to classifying the triangle based on its sides or its angles so you get the right classification. It made me sad. All right, I'm going to move on to number 5. I want to remember, don't be that kid who doesn't check their spiral math with the videos we post every day. All right. 180 students go on a field trip to the zoo. Each van can seat 10 students. Using the fewest number of vehicles, how many vans are needed? So what I'm going to do is my first thing, and I have a little bit of room here at the bottom of number 5, so I might as well use that. I'm going to say that blank vans are needed. Now, because I'm looking for the number of vans, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take and divide the students into vans. Excuse me, boys and girls. So I'm going to be taking the 180 students that are right here, and I'm going to put that on comment so I can underline it. So I have 180 students, and they're going to be going into vans that can each seat 10 students. So what I'll do is going sideways here, and I may just see that number 10. I may not even need to do, well, I'll do the dividing box now since I've already written it. We have 180 students, and we're going to be going on 10 vans, or 10 students can go into one van. So what I'll do is I'll divide this out quickly. And I could have done this in mental math, but since I already had the dividing box. But it looks like we can use 18 vans. Is that what you got, Ms. Garcia, to be able to go on this trip?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, so 18 vans are needed. I was wondering when they said it, using the fewest number of vehicles possible, if there might be a remainder, we'd have to like adjust the number of vans, but we don't. So we're gonna move on to number 6.
Alrighty, so number 6 says, last week, the Clearwater CD Company had sales of $1,158.79. Dang, a lot of people must have bought some CDs that week. This week, the company had sales of $699.05. They want to know how many, or what was the company's total sales for both weeks. So for your guys' answer sentence, you guys should have said, the company's total sales for both weeks were. And then go ahead and put your dollar sign, just like Mr. Yates is doing. Yep, and you put the blank. And so is what you guys had to do here is you guys had to add up your 1,158.79. And make sure you guys are lining these up.
Mm-hmm.
And then your guys' next one is $699.05. And then you're going to want to go ahead and add those together. 9 plus 5 gives you 14. 7 plus the 1 gives you 8, just like Mr. Yates is doing. And then you should have ended with $1,857.84. Yep.
Right. There we go. Good. We'll move on to number 7. Oh, we had just talked about this a second ago about classifying triangles, so we're back to doing that again. Two sides of a triangle are let me back it up that one time. Two sides of a triangular sign are 24 inches long. The third side is 18 inches long. Based on its side, what type of triangle is this sign? Okay, that's not too tough to do as long as we consider what we're looking at. So I could draw something really here in my mind, or you could just draw one. We got two sides of a triangle, and let's see what we got on my work side. So I'll draw a nice little triangle like about that. And I'm going to look, and it says two sides of the triangular sign are 24 inches long. So this side is 24 inches, this side is 24 inches. And down at the bottom, the third side is 18 inches. Now, based on its sides, and that's really the key thing here, is the sides. We're not talking about the angles. We're talking about the sides. What type of triangle is a sign? Well, because it has two sides that are the same, it's going to be an isosceles triangle. So I'm going to move over to my answer sentence, clear out my triangle that I just drew, and I'm going to go ahead and put that as my answer sentence. The sign is and Ms. Garcia, please just double check to make sure Mr. Yates has spelled isosceles correctly, because that is, I think I've told the class before, this is one of my words that I really struggle with is isosceles.
Honestly, me too, but that's how I spelled it as well. So
okay. We both spell it correctly, then it's all good. All right. The sign is an isosceles triangle. So we're going to move on to our final one, number 8.
All right, gotta finish strong. So number 8 says, for a school assembly, students sit in chairs that are arranged in 53 rows. There are 12 chairs in each row. About, that's a key word, about how many students can be seated? So for my answer sentence, I said blank students.
Oh, okay. I was going to say about.
Oh,
blank.
yeah, you can totally say about too. About blank students can be seated. So is how I solved this one is I took my 53 and I've looked at that and I was like, that's about 50 if I look at it, because it's not, it wouldn't round to 60. That would be a little too high. So 53 rounds to 50, and I took the 12 and I rounded that to 10 because it's about 10. And so then you have to multiply those. And so I did 50 times 10 and I got 500. And so for your answer sentence, you can say about 500 students can be seated.
All right, great. Boys and girls, please remember that when you're done with this, we want you to go to the survey for this week's Spiral Math and tell Mr. Yates and Ms. Garcia how many you got right, how many you got wrong, and make sure that you're also telling us if you need any help on any of them. One thing that we're noticing is that a lot of kids are awesomely getting every one of these Spiral Math surveys done, and that's great. Some of you are not. So if you have been doing the Spiral Math and not filling out the survey, we can't tell whether you're doing your Spiral Math or not, and we need to help us give you feedback and to help you do better on it. So make sure that you do the survey, boys and girls, when you're done with your Spiral Math today. Thank you.